I'm pretty sick of hearing drivers going, well, he pushed me off.
He'd be like, oh, yeah. He pushed me off and he earns 5 times more than me. Calendar date for when I stopped liking Lando, and that's when he lost his virginity.
All right, yo, welcome. Miami is done. The fake marina's packed up. The Pitbull playlist has finally stopped looping. And once again, Formula One proved that it's not just a sport, it's a high-speed soap opera with billion-dollar sunglasses. Ladies and gentlemen, senoritas, welcome back to Idiots of F1, the podcast that asks the big questions like, why is or was Jack Doohan still employed? How does Danica Patrick keep getting a gig at the race? And what exactly is Christian Horner's skincare routine? I'm Ollie, joined as always by the gang of over-caffeinated armchair experts. This week includes the full entourage, Tay, Diggs and Ev.
Hi.
My guys, welcome
Hello.
back. Look, usually I seek to ask you lads how you are at the beginning of each episode. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit this week. I've got a question for each of you. Tay,
here we go.
Working on the basis that you've had a great week since we were last here. If you were given a full-size Lego F1 car to drive around as part of the opening proceedings of the Miami Grand Prix, how long before you genuinely destroyed it? Would you even make the first corner?
Yeah, it'd be fucked. I'd ram it into something.
I'd rum it into everyone. Yep.
Yeah. That's your answer, folks. I'd rum it.
Rum it.
We're
3 bottles deep.
We're a multi-dialect podcast where you will notice that English is not our first language.
It's also ESL.
Yeah.
Also.
Diggs, you've got a brand new song out. But ignoring that, here's your icebreaker for today. Would you rather be Martin Brundle's +1 for 3 hours post-race on the fake marina, or have to give Lewis Hamilton career advice live on stage at Ferrari HQ in front of everyone?
I think you know what I'm going to do. I would love to just stand on stage and give Lewis Hamilton career advice.
Just mansplain to 7-time world champion.
I'd be like the most hated man in F1. I'm pretty sure I've already lost friendships for my hatred back in the day for Lewis Hamilton. There are people who, because you know how people get obsessive with Lewis? Like,
you don't hate him.
No, look, I don't hate him. I hate the idea and presence of publicity.
He'd be so starstruck
actually know
if Lewis
the guy.
actually walked past him.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
He has walked past me before.
And fully
it was
erect.
before I watched F1, so it was like, yeah, good. I remember my thought was, yeah, good on you, mate. You just drove around in circles for a few hours, top notch.
And he's probably thinking the same, oh, God, another cover band.
Yeah,
probably. He probably didn't even know I was in the band.
Okay. To be fair, I think it's brilliant that you've played at Grand Prix, and I am very, very proud of you for doing that, mate. Thank you.
4 Grand Prix.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, Ev, last one. If you were going to be introduced by LL Cool J in front of a stadium of Americans as an F1 driver, what would your entrance music be?
My favourite entrance joke is the one where Homer fights Drederick Tatum. And Homer...
Why can't we be friends?
Yeah, and it's why can't we be friends? And Homer's got the dressing gown on.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, I can't
Do you know what?
be friends.
That feels like that's Lando Norris's entrance.
Oh, I love that.
100%.
My poor little puppy.
No. Yeah,
Oh
don't.
my
I'm not going to
God.
lose half the audience base because you guys want to rip on poor old Lando.
Joking,
He did
if you're
it to
new here,
himself.
we
He
love
did it to
Lando. We're actually
himself.
huge Lando fans. If you're not new here, you know.
Yeah. We love everyone and despise everyone equally. I have to keep caveating that. Ev, I love that. Why can't we be friends? I love that. I can imagine you kind of shimming out and going straight up to Christian Horner. You know, actually mouthing it to him. Like, why can't we
In
be
his
friends?
underwear.
Yeah.
In his underwear, it is fucking blanket.
Nah, he'd be in a robe. Hey, in case you haven't picked up on it, this week we are here to dive headfirst into the neon-lit chaos of the Miami Grand Prix, which has been and gone, from Lando's glorious breakthrough to, pick a driver, any of the rookies' annual Florida disappearing act. That's coming up in Rearview Review, where we break down the race with all the insight of a guy who only half watched it while checking tyre memes on Twitter. Then we're going to play another round of Hush You Been Paying Attention, our weekly quiz where points mean absolutely nothing, but bragging rights last forever, and where someone will inevitably embarrass themselves by forgetting how many corners Miami actually has. It's 19. maybe. We think. And finally, we'll close out with what's Verstappening, where we unpack the juicy off-track storylines and further double down on our wild takes and opinions. So grab a cafecito, put on your most questionable floral shorts or shirt, which I will flag. I'm sure you guys all saw Simon on Sky F1. He had the best like flamingo
I love that
shirt on. Yeah.
Hawaiian shirt.
But yeah, so chuck on your floral short and let's talk short. I said it again. Fuck. Let's talk F1. As I said, English is second language here. Let's talk F1 the only way we know how. Loud, objectively, subjectively, and deeply committed to the bit. Let's get into it. It's time for review. Right. For the fourth time ever, Miami has been and gone again. Working on the brief to bring vibes, chaos, and some will-to-wheel racing. Gents, I suggest it delivered, but I wanted to get your immediate reactions to the race. Good, bad, somewhat indifferent.
Loved it. Really, really enjoyed this weekend. I've never been the biggest Miami fan. I've always been a bit... we talked about it last week. If you want to hear my opinion, go back. But I enjoyed every minute of this weekend. Like, everything delivered in the way I hoped it would. I think now I have an expectation of how they present Miami. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I loved the sprint. We could do a whole episode on that sprint, And the race didn't disappoint in any way. All the characters came out the way we hoped they would, and it was. I'm
like every character
to know
played
what
their
Ev
role.
Rates it this week. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's
it's a well-written
such a point.
episode.
Well, I'll
So
throw to Ev
hopefully
in a
better
second.
than a 5 out of 10.
So we spoke last week about just the pure nonsense that we've seen in and around the whole Miami weekend that comes. I actually felt like it was a bit subdued this week, and I feel like I watched a shitload of F1, but it didn't quite feel as much Murica as I anticipated it to. So anyways, any moments of...
Well, no, but that's a good point. You make a good point there, because obviously I enjoyed it a lot, but I wasn't sure if I had an expectation of grandeur of Miami, or they did subdue it. I'm not sure which one it was. If they did subdue it, I think they did the right amount of America and Miami and glossiness. If they didn't, I'm just happy that I'm used to it now. It's got its character and it's good.
Yeah.
I think the Lego race was so fun, and I got
something for you. Lights out and away Lego. You like that? Yep. Anyway?
Yeah, clever.
Yeah.
Oh,
clever girl.
Not even a clever girl. Yeah. Not even Ev. He didn't even respond. Look at his face. Like, not even like.
It's because he didn't come up with
quite
it.
Clever. Yeah.
Nothing. He's holding a fart.
Yeah, Tay, that was wicked. That was brilliant. I thought that was amazing.
That was so fun. And you know what? It was the first time I've seen all the drivers just have some lighthearted fun.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you guys. Here's a question for you guys. So one thing I picked up on that is obviously they were 2-seaters, so only one person was driving. If you wanted to know who the number one driver was in each team, have a look who's driving. That was one of those teams.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I thought that was
going to ask, with Ferrari, do you
I
think it was because
think
Lewis had to have his
No, of
phone out?
course
Lewis
not.
had to film the content.
True.
You were able to see who the passenger princesses were.
There's a bit of that. Yep. There was. Yeah. Anyways, take from it what you will. But Tay, I agree. I thought the Lego thing was really, really good. Obviously, there was speaking of the actual cars and the idea of the weekend, there were a couple of livery reveals, there were a couple of new uniforms, a couple of new helmets. Ev, anything that stood out to you?
No.
Okay. Fucking hell. Good.
Nothing stood out to me.
So,
I want to know what Ev, your thoughts were. What was your take on the weekend, Ev? Seeing as you've been so disappointed or mediocrely, subdued about this year.
The championship hasn't even started.
I saw the best thing I saw, to sum it up, just for the race. It was the meme of not Tarantino, who's the New York director, the old guy, and he was like
Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese, and it was like the first 20 laps, and then it's the meme of Scorsese going like, cinema, because that first 20 laps where it was Lando being Lando and going out in the first corner, and then Oscar versus Max was incredible up until Max just let him overtake him. He didn't even fight him into the corner. I think because Max probably felt he'd had his fun by that point in sparring, but you know that there's nothing else that he's not going to be able to stop him from being overtaken. Anyway, yeah, so I wasn't all that impressed by the fun colorways and Lando's helmet, which I'm surprised
It was like a
legal.
disco ball, right?
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I just
heard
wish
his
people
helmet.
went out.
He had his one helmet that actually had the mirror ball stuff, and then
Right.
the helmet he actually used
was printed on.
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
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 That's
Can we
even
just quickly
lamer.
take a moment and talk about, because obviously there was a whole heap of like build up about, I mean, we even quipped about it on last week's episode about Ferrari's livery. That was fucking awful. That was awful. I'm sorry.
I'm so disappointed.
I heard some information about what they've done with that livery is that the paint they used actually was 14% less weight.
Mm.
And so
What, they
clearly
thought they'd
it
be
didn't help
lighter?
them.
Yeah, okay.
40% faster then.
I think correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, again, we always look forward to Martin Brundle's grid walk. Again, I don't think there are any hugely as awkward moments as last time when he kept on calling out poor old Patrick Mahomes. But one thing that was super awkward, I mean, look, actually, fuck it, there were a couple. Diggs, I know you've got a couple of things you want to say here. But if you guys missed it, there was a massive boxing match last week. Conor Benn, who is obviously English, Martin managed to actually grab him on the grid after trying to hunt him down. He congratulated him on a fantastic fight, to which Conor responded, well, thanks, obviously I lost. So that was super fucking awkward. And then there was that really awful moment where poor old Jackie Stewart got brought in to try and grab the attention of that woman. There was an artist there that she was there for
yeah.
the
The
release.
purple dress. Yeah.
I can't remember, but that was super awkward because she knew he was there the whole time and didn't want to speak to him. And then poor old Jackie Stewart, who's like a grandpa, you know, it's like
100 years old.
I'd do
Oh,
anything
he's
for
more
that
than a
lovely old
grandpa.
man. Yeah, he's beautiful. He's so
Yeah.
lovely. So
He is.
you know, that was all super fucking awkward. Diggs, what were you going to say about poor old Martin?
So this wasn't as bad as you pointed out, but that I've just got a note here going, boxes on the grid. My God. Like that, you've just brought it up, so that's fine. I actually thought he did a great job in answering Martin's questions. I thought he was actually one of the
Yeah, he
best
was brilliant.
people
He was.
on the grid.
He was
but
wonderful.
Martin, fuck man, how to interview 101. Like, he needs a lesson. No one could fucking hear anything. So maybe, take that into effect.
Oh, yeah.
Secondly,
Yeah,
no
that's
one
super
really
awkward.
has anything to say. So thank God for Jack Whitehall, who saved the fucking day. Because that guy can talk for
Evan
hours
fucking hates
without
him.
any
He's a
questions.
charmer.
No,
He's a
love him or
charmer.
hate
I love him.
At least he had something to fucking say. Martin needs some fucking prep questions. Ollie, you do more prep for a podcast with a small audience than Martin does for one of the most important live interviews of the week.
his producer
Have a
tells him.
fucking question.
producer's
How
in
many
his
times?
ear.
Oh, yeah, but sure, but he's the one who looks like an idiot. So why doesn't he
I know,
quickly
I
jot
know.
down if they have nothing to say? Hey, basic questions. Is this your first F1? Have you been to Miami before? How are you finding the season so far?
But he's
Like,
trying
so
to mix it
rushed
up.
during it.
He wants to mix it up.
But
Imagine
he's
asking...
not. But he ain't mixing it up. How's it going? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. So enjoying.
and who
the
you
F1?
going for out here
Yeah,
today?
Yeah, good. Lead them. Who's your favorite driver? What do you think about? Ask them a question that might derive something from the conversation.
Hang on. I feel like though his whole purpose is there to get the ones who are racing, the drivers, the team principals.
Wrong. Otherwise,
That
he'd be up
used
there.
to be his job.
Hang on. Only because
used to be
nothing's
his
done
job,
yet.
Tay.
I was just going to follow that up though, because it feels unprepared. So as you say, that's your whole argument is the fact that he's unprepared going into this. If it was meant to be him, he's just filling in space with these celebrities, and it has become a thing.
5 years ago, I would have argued that, and I was in full support because that's not what the grid walk used to be. The grid has
Agreed.
adapted
Yeah.
and it has changed, and there are more
But he
celebrities.
hasn't.
Well, that's the problem, man. And it doesn't take much. Like I said, you don't need to know who you're talking to. Have some leading questions that any dum-dum could answer about the F1, other than, how are you? How are you enjoying the week? That's not a leading interview question.
Okay.
You have to pick something that they can comment on.
So I'm gonna round this up. We're gonna end it here. Tay, you're wrong. If Martin Brundle wanted to be there to talk to the drivers, he would stand up at the driver's entrance when they come out, because they all come out at the front and he starts at the back of the grid. The point is to
fair
go
enough.
is to give a chance to expand the interest set by talking to non-typical F1 people mixed in with F1 people such as team principals and engineers that are obviously there setting up their cars. And Diggs, nobody has any visibility as far as I'm aware, at least from a Sky perspective, bearing in mind they are not the host of the... They don't know who's on the grid. They have no fucking idea.
That's fine.
But they get word and they'll have spotters going, okay, we've seen fucking Cher. All right, let's go talk to her about Sonny. Anyways, he's obviously reacting in the moment. He's reacting in the moment
funny.
to try and dive into a discussion that is relevant to the... It's like, so how was your boxing match?
I get it.
You've got a new movie coming out, or...
Yep. And he can only work with what he's got, but just needs a fallback question because these people aren't giving him anything. And after
I want to
a while,
be that
it's
person.
on Martin to figure that out. I'd argue, you put Ollie out there, he'd be able to do it. Conan O'Brien would be amazing. You watch those late night hosts and watch the good ones. They know how to lead you into a question, even though
I want to do the grid walk in the future. Do you know how fucked I would be though?
Yeah, it would be
You
great.
know how fucked I would be? And I know what Ev was going to talk about is those... If you're on the grid, and we've spoken about this previously, if you're on the grid, you should have no right to say no. That's first and foremost. But they do, right? But if I was on the grid and somebody denied me, let's say fucking Conor McGregor's walking past, right? And his bounce is like, nah, man, he can't talk. I go, well, this is my fucking grid, so fuck off. Like, I would like accidentally be like,
I'd be that guy. Who's the meme of the black guy? And they always put it like, what are you doing here at the Porsche dealership? And the guy's like, nothing.
Just hanging
I'm
it.
and it'd just be me like kicking the tires, just to like, oh yeah, all right, yeah. Like just to give like a nod to the engineers. All right,
Oh,
you
man,
go,
yeah.
okay.
Well, obviously a couple of other things to call out just to wrap up the off-track stuff. The F1 movie soundtrack was revealed. I hope you guys have been paying attention. Obviously, there's a couple of lots of celebrities around. Tom Brady, Jelly Roll. I understand Timothy Chalamet was there in a Racing Bull shirt of all fucking shirts, which is weird. Terry Crews was there, obviously for Cadillac.
I love Terry.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Did you guys see Oscar do the griddy or try and do the griddy?
Yeah.
I did. That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was
Funny?
a bet.
Funny?
Do you know what was funny? Because he was trying to... He was obviously been told to be a bit more lively, so he tried. He found
be a bit more.
But at least he gave it a shot.
interesting.
How many people would be like, "No, not doing that."
True.
But it was a bet that he lost.
Well, no, yeah, but
With
he
that,
did it. He did it with
Dolphins
the Miami
player.
Dolphins
Yeah.
quarterback, and
Yeah.
As if he knew who that guy was.
Yeah. Although he did a hot lap with him in the McLaren, which was sick. Yes, he did lose the bet. My point is not about the fact that he's a good egg and did it. It's the fact that Oscar is just off track, so fucking boring and awkward. Anyways, boys, let's run through the grid. Let's start at the top. For those that have been sleeping under a rock, those that haven't had a chance to watch the entire race, or those that just want to recap because they were blind drunk by the time that the race ended, it was another McLaren 1-2 in what could be described in no other way than a completely dominant day out. Oscar Piastri drove like a man possessed to take his third straight win of the season, while Lando Norris, playing the bridesmaid again, finished second after missing out on the sprint thanks to some classic late race safety car chaos that actually let Lando grab the sprint win. Oscar regrouped on Sunday's Grand Prix, despite I think it's fair to say, had a fairly frustrating qualification. He came in at P4, come lights out, things flipped very fast. He quickly shot past Lando, who went off track at corner 1. He made quick work of Antonelli. He stalked Verstappen for a tense. I think it was like a 4-lap showdown, which, to your point before, Ev, was an incredible spectacle of racing. And then he's pretty much straight outpaced the reigning champ. From there, he was clinical, he was controlled, he was untouchable, and his margin over George Russell in P3 was thereabouts 38 seconds, I think. Gents.
Yeah.
Was that a win or was it a mic drop? Because
I like mic drop. Mic drop's good. I like that. I that's a hard track at the start to get through without crashing. So first of all, great work by most of the pack to not get damaged.
Everyone involved.
Except Liam Lawson and Doohan. I'm pretty sick of hearing drivers going, well, he pushed me off. just like
There's
Yeah,
a lot of that
same.
this
I
year.
think you've got to play you got to play the long game.
Take responsibility.
Right? So I put in my notes like I'm so sick of hearing that. Take the crash, and then maybe next time you won't do it because it fucks
that's
you
right.
today.
Yeah.
But you're in a McLaren. It'll fuck you today, but Max will think twice next time. You've just proven to him that he can do that every time, and you'll just go off. Like, so why wouldn't he just do it again?
Case. That's always been the case with him and Max, with Lando
No,
and Max.
no, I know. And I'm just saying, I'm
Yeah.
sick of him. I'm sick of hearing him complain. So when Oscar comes around, Oscar just does it. He takes his time. He figured out what Max was doing. Took the corner brilliantly.
He's calculated. He's calculated and patient.
Now, granted, Lando did it quicker, but I think they'd figured out what Max was doing by that stage, so it was a bit easier for him to go through. But
there was a comment, and I just want to round out about Oscar, but just to your point about Lando seeming to overtake Max quicker than Oscar did, Lando makes a comment. I don't know if you guys have had a chance, and for our listeners, he's interviewed post-race, and he actually admits that Max gave up. He just let him pass. So I would go so far.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're now 6 races in. Oscar's won 4 of them. What's the one thing Piastri still needs to prove before we talk about him as a title contender? Or are we? I mean, is it a lock-in? As I said, is this a mic drop, or we just give him the fucking championship?
I don't think it's a mic drop, but I definitely think it. Like, he's so consistent and he's so calm and collected by it, and he's learning every race. So, like, I think he's just. Yeah, I don't. It's not a mic drop, but I definitely think he'll come away with this based on his current performance, for sure.
Look, obviously for me, Oscar was pure class. He called it the win he really wanted, and I think that was more of a reflection on the sprint and how much he didn't really give a fuck about the sprint. He admitted he still had things to work on, and Tay, your comment there about he learns, I think is the best thing about Lando, which is what
Oscar.
Oscar. There is some scary potential about this guy, and he reminded everyone that 2 years ago in Miami, McLaren got lapped twice.
Yeah.
Now they're lapping pretty much everybody else. I mean that metaphorically, so did anyone call me out and go, were there any laps on the weekend? And
There
Oscar's
were,
at the
but
front
we
with
didn't
the
see
quiet confidence of a future world champ. On Lando, some things to call out from the weekend. Former F1 champion Alan Jones, Australian mind you, so you'll have to appreciate there's an element of bias towards Oscar, no doubt. He labelled Norris as mentally weak. He suggested he lacks the psychological fortitude required of a world champion. Similarly, and again, take this as you want, because Red Bull advisor Helmut Marko has also questioned Norris's mental strength, implying that his openness about personal struggles could be a vulnerability. Lando's team principal, Andreas, has suggested that Lando's transparency is a strength. Now, F1 favourite Seb Vettel has also come out and applauded Lando for being a real model for his honesty, arguing that vulnerability can actually be a strength in high-pressure environments. Now, I know on this pod we have differing views, and you've all made yourselves clear at some stage on your thoughts on Lando. But do any of you think there is any version of the simulation where Lando could still be a champion this year?
Nah.
I don't think we need Alan Jones to tell us that Lando's weak. I think that's pretty clear in the way he talks and the way he drives. But there's definitely a version once
maybe
upgrades
if Oscar
come in. Like
isn't
he
there.
might McLaren start getting faster, and then they don't have to fight, and then maybe he gets a cleaner jump from the start. Like there's a version where he can just stay out in front. But if it remains a fighting grid, then no.
Yeah, his racecraft is just so different to Oscar's. It's so different. Like there's an immaturity.
Yeah,
with it
immaturity is a
compared to
really
Oscar.
good word for that.
Is it immaturity? I mean, look, and maybe with immaturity comes impatience. But, I mean, look, Diggs, you called it out earlier. Like, Lando has... Granted, he's on the front grid. He's on the front of the grid. He's trying to get that position off Max. The McLaren cars won by 38 seconds. Like, why try and get him on the first corner and ultimately fuck up your entire race where you lose 4 places because you go wide?
Exactly.
Like, whereas Oscar, and you guys will note, I'm sure you picked up on it, his language afterwards was like, oh, well, I just decided to sit back and let things play out. There were some pretty big moves made. Like, and what he meant by big moves was dumb fucking moves. He goes, I just sat back and bid my time and I was patient until I knew I could get the job done. Yeah. Which I think is it shows a lot of maturity on Oscar's side. It shows a huge amount of F1 education. Like, he's clearly got an unbelievable racing IQ compared to Lando's. But in saying that, and again, Ev, maybe one for you, the telemetry, the data, and even Andreas came out and said that Lando was the fastest driver on the weekend. His car proved to be the fastest, but Oscar just got the job done because he didn't try and do it all in the first corner.
It seems that Lando's good at he's better at qualifying. And so whether that...
The rolling start.
He's a one-lapper. Yeah. He's a one-lapper.
Which might even
baby.
speak to that immaturity, that he can't maintain that focus over an entire race. Whereas Piastri, there's... it's not really a movement. It's lots of Oscars, but lots of athletes of this new Gen Z generation are demonstrating they're just unaffected by pressure. You think of like young basketball players now in the NBA are just like unfazed
of the big occasion.
Is that because they've got more training at a young age? You've got more mental coaching as a young star.
Cole Palmer talked about, somebody asked him like, how is he so, and he plays like Call of Duty, and he's like, and so he's like, you don't know what pressure is until you've got like 20 guys like abusing you about like trying to kill you and like shoot you, and I'm getting it there.
Yeah, Call of Duty teaches pressure.
Yeah, and so it's like
he's got his priorities around the wrong way.
Yeah, and
fuck it out.
So it's really
so
really
I wouldn't quote you on any of that. I mean, like, I like your point about like the idea, and actually, I think Digby did a really good job of saving that completely subjective perspective of young age psychological profiles by suggesting that maybe it's because they've got better resource in that space than anyone else. Can I just say, just because I need to balance the ledger here, and I know you guys have all been having a crack at me. I've always loved Lando. I think as a personality, as a package, Lando is much better than Oscar and I'm talking off track, right? Sure. I'm not just talking on track. But if I'm a sponsor, I'm going.
No, but you think Oscar's boring.
I tell you what
I think
it is.
Oscar's so boring.
There is an absolute calendar date for when I stopped liking Lando, and that's when he lost his virginity. So before, like,
what?
Are you talking about his racing virginity here?
No. He used to make all these like really funny, self-deprecating jokes about it's all online. You can see him,
and now he doesn't.
The meme of like the shark going through a school of fish, and he's like, "Oh, that's me at a nightclub." Like all the girls just like are like allergic to him, and so that's really that's funny. It's relatable, and now he's got like a supermodel girlfriend. And it's like, I don't sympathize with him anymore. Like he's just another piece of shit.
Hold on.
TikTok.
So your entire perspective as our longest standing F1 fan who genuinely understands it, your entire perspective of Lando is thrown up because he got roots and you didn't.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bet my career.
Okay. Do you know what? Okay, if you're a listener, and actually I've just realised why you love Lewis more than anyone is because if you're a listener and you want to know how much Ev despises a particular driver, ignoring whether or not they're good or nice, have a look at how hot their girlfriend is. Because clearly that's the issue. Yeah, because Lewis doesn't have a girlfriend and you fucking love Lewis. Look, personally, I love this approach from Lando. I love the rawness. I love the human side of it all. I think too often celebrities and sporting superstars elevate this stoic bravado that this any sign of weakness is not acceptable mentality is that of not being a winner. But I applaud it. And I'm actually, I'm in line with the likes of Vettel, particularly in this day and age. I think it's a good role model. I think Lando is really fun. I'm not going to lie, I get tired, and again, watching the race interviews post the weekend, and it's like, oh, fuck, just stop fucking complaining. Or stop, it's just a bit, it's a bit whingy, and it's like a bit like,
on that
it's
front,
a bit woe is me. But I love him. I do love him.
I wish someone would complain instead of like, oh, he pushed me off. He'd be like, oh, he pushed me off and he earns 5 times more than me.
Did you see Oscar's face in the post race when he was
talking
bitching
about
Max?
Yeah.
And then Oscar just looks at him going, what are you fucking talking about?
He just looks at him and he raises the eyebrows like, are you sure? And again, to contextualize, if you haven't seen it, so in the podium, the post-race...
The lorry.
Interviews where they do... and they got Jensen Button to do the interview with all 3, but they're all sitting next to each other, which is quite uncommon because usually they just do the mic and they fuck off and go into the way station or something. Lando is interviewed by Jensen Button and they talk about the turn 1 thing because that's what they all do. And he was just like, well, people complain if I don't go for that type of move. They complain when I do.
Go for the gap. Yep.
Yeah, and so, and they're like, oh, well, what's the alternative? He's like, well, crash. And he's like, you either get past Max or you crash because that's just the type of driver he was. And there's, Oscar, who obviously didn't have any issues with getting past Max by way of nearly crashing. And he's just raising his eyebrows and then quickly looks away. It's all great TV and probably all read into far too much.
It's like The Office.
That's the personality there. It's the subtlety.
Yeah,
of
you
his
like that. You
personality.
like that subtlety.
You got it.
Like
It's because I won't stay on it. I just want to say, like, he is on the surface boring because he's very just. There's not a lot of emotion there, but when he opens his mouth and has something to say, it's often funny. Like the comments, like he often says what we're thinking, which is
the facial expressions.
Yeah,
I find him to be.
It's more like Jim. He's a Jim.
I find him to be an Australian version of Lewis Hamilton, where he just says the right things. I want to start. That's why I love Lando, because he will say how he's feeling. Like, I find that Oscar
But I
is scripted.
don't think Piastri says the right things all the time. Like, he does things where it's like...
To be fair...
Where he's more of a Bottas to me, where he does say the right thing, but then sometimes he drops a little polite comment.
A little bit. More in his facial reactions than anything.
But he... he hasn't gone through anything that's been so... like apoplectically frustrating. Whereas Lando has made decisions that have embarrassed himself or have brought bad luck onto him. But the way Oscar races, there's no drama. So when you ask him a question, he doesn't have anything dramatic to say because there was no drama.
I like that. Yep. So actually, I've got a question. I've got a question for any one of you. So, I have found, and again, if you guys want to see something incredibly intimidating, and this is just my perspective, go back and watch Max's interview with Sky Sports after the race. That's the first time I
deliberately haven't watched
intimidating.
It. Right.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting.
It's pretty hard to watch. I couldn't get through the whole thing, to be honest.
I agree, and I don't want to talk about that now. I mean, maybe we'll cover it off when we get to Max. But I have a question for you. Do you think that the reason, and just trying to build off what you're talking about there, Ev, with no drama when it comes to Oscar, you're right. And when we talk about drama, majority of the time, if it's not Lance Stroll, we'll get to him later, it's Max, right? Max is usually at the center of the drama, right? Because to Lando's point, he is unbelievably aggressive. He doesn't give you an option. It's either crash or fuck off. You're not getting past. But you never, ever see that sort of, he pushed me off, or that drama around him and Oscar. I think, and I'm going to go out and say, I think that Max respects Oscar as a driver more than he does anyone else on that grid. I think Max.
I agree. I don't think he's had a reason not to yet either.
But I think Max knows he's a fucking awesome driver, whereas he's friends with Lando, and so there's like a lot of like, fuck you type of stuff.
But I think you're right, Ol. I think he knows he's not gonna. He can make passes on moments where Max probably will have to look like the villain to force him off. He can't do it in that way like he did with Lando. He can just kind of squeeze him out.
It's because Oscar passes where people don't expect you to pass. That's why he's amazing.
Yeah.
He did it with Lewis so many times.
He waits for your weakness. He waits for that little gap, and he knows where he's going. He doesn't force it, and I think that's
and it comes back to his racecraft.
In Imola, where Max caused Lewis's car to when
Max went up on Lewis.
And Max just shrugged his shoulders and walked off. And he gives very bitter kind of answers to that, and he's very defensive. And this is coming from me, if you were to humanize him, his point of view is, well, like, what did you want from me? Like, I'm not going to let you pass me. It's not my fault that you choose a stupid place to try to do that, because then I'm going to do something stupid. Like, it is still very stupid, and they've brought in so many rules because of Max Verstappen's. It's just unsporting. And I know that's a very old-fashioned view.
But that's right. But that's why I love Max, because he's such a competitor. And don't get me wrong, guys. Like, we've all been on this podcast. There was once upon a time I couldn't stand Max, but I love him more and more because he is such a good competitor, and because it's a no-frills competitor. He's like, well, fuck you. It's like, so the question, the point about the post-race interview with Sky is they asked him, like, oh, Max, there's been comments about, that you're unpredictable. And he goes, is that a problem? Like, it was a really, he just straight backed it. And it was like, it was quite fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also wasn't just what he said. It was the way he responded. And to me, it was very aggressively rude with it, but still being quite calm. It's like this psychopathic calmness about it. Like, he was ready to go,
like, he's
stop
got
asking
bodies.
me these fucking questions, man. And you could see she felt uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, there is a time and place. There was nothing wrong with her question. She wasn't trying to be fair,
those guys are in that.
I thought it was a fair question, and she said it in a polite way. I thought he was incredibly rude.
That speaks to him in his mental place. If you take a question that isn't meant to be like gotcha journalism, and the call down area is such a like softball journalistic place.
But they just ask the same questions, right? Yeah, every one of those journos would ask the same question.
The fact that he took it in such a way is quite telling. And he's had such a weekend having the birth of his first child and shit like that.
So to go to your point about when Martin was on the grid walk and how this idea of like, well, you're on the grid walk, you can't say no, and there's a level of expectation, that goes for the drivers as well.
Like, but I think that's my point. That's my point. Like they go from journo to journo across different broadcasters, different fucking mastheads. There's like 30 or 40 journos in those pens, and they go from one to the other around. You watch them, right? You can see the drivers. They come in, they go round, they do the loop, and they walk out. It's the same fucking question from every one of those journos. I'd be exactly the same. I get to the end and go,
Sky.
And he hates Sky. He hates any Brit journo.
Well, he's getting paid to do that, so
fair enough. All right, well, look, let's shift to the last step on the podium, Mr. Sunday, or as he's affectionately become known on this podcast as Mr. Beige. Mr. Mercedes, George Russell rounded out the podium in P3 after another very lucky pit stop and virtual safety car combination. Like, he couldn't have timed that better. It's crazy to say this after only 6 races, but for me, guys, and I'm keen to get your perspective here, for me, this weekend for Mercedes was not about George, even though he's got another podium. But rather his teammate Antonelli, or affectionately on this podcast known as Kiminelli, which is obviously a combination of Kimi and Antonelli there. I hope we can make that name stick globally. Boys, Kiminelli ended up finishing P6 in the race, so it's nothing to shy away from, but let me quickly summarize his weekend, right? So he took sprint pole ahead of Max, Oscar and Lando, and his teammate George, becoming the youngest ever driver in history to skewer any form of pole. Whilst he unfortunately gave up that pole before the first corner of the sprint, the talk of his race was when he actually got wiped out by Verstappen's unsafe release, but yet he still recovered to score points. Immediately following, on the same day, he went out to skewer the second row of the grid. Yeah, I think he was third in qualification for the race, right? And he was like 0.06 seconds off pole for the actual race yesterday.
He was very
he just missed out on it.
All the grid was super close.
Yeah, it was super close, but massive weekend for Antonelli. So, gents, obviously great weekend for him. As I understand it, and again, stick with me here, the rumours went into overdrive again on the weekend that George is in talks with Red Bull and he could very well much be headed there next year. What are the odds on Antonelli being the reason Russell doesn't want to renew with Mercedes? And what I mean by that is if he stayed at Mercedes, would it only be a matter of time before Antonelli became the number one? he certainly seems to be Toto's number one. Tay.
The only thing I think that's preventing Kimi right now is the fact that he doesn't have enough experience. If he had the same experience as George, I think George would have left a long time ago.
I think it's a bit quick. I think you'd be a fool to go to Red Bull at the moment with the way everyone else is driving that car. Like, I mean, take your chances against Kiminelli. He's doing just fine. He's doing a good job. The two of them are very close. They're a good team. I think, yes, if there's ever a reason, I think you're right. That would be the reason that he would go, but I think it's very early to consider that might be a possibility just yet. Yeah, Antonelli, great qualifying this week, but still didn't perform in the race. Now, granted, that wasn't his fault in the pit. That was crazy that even happened.
No, that was...
So it's hard. I mean, I guess I'm saying I couldn't make that judgment yet, despite his good performance over the weekend. I still think George is just always there. He's just there. He's in the points. He's on the podium. I don't know how he keeps doing it, but something seemed very odd with his car. There was one point when I think it was Lando overtook him with fucking ease, and then suddenly Sainz was catching up to him.
George was going really, really well, and then presumably the tires just dropped off, and that car wasn't good on old mediums or something. Yeah, that's all.
A lot sooner than they expected, I think. Yeah, well, because Sainz was suddenly closing in on him real fast. I thought that may have been a problem. So, I mean, who knows? If they hadn't struggled with that tyre, maybe it would have been even closer.
Did you see how dirty the track was, though?
It was filthy. It was
so
dusty.
Loads
after
of
all that
shit,
rain,
even
too.
with all the rain.
Classic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Filthy.
Okay, hey, look, I want to quickly shift back because we're following the order of the grid to Max. So he finished fourth. Obviously, what felt like a weekend of proving just how good he is with what is effectively a pretty ordinary car. And I must say, maybe it's because I haven't heard it before, but it sounds like old mate Christian has come around to agree with that. I forgot his last name. I forgot Christian's last name.
Horner.
Fuck. I couldn't think of his name. But yeah, he's come out and almost kind of confirmed that they've got problems with that car. But again, really good from Max, broadly speaking. He pipped all cars in qualifying to grab the fastest lap and give himself a chance. But for me, obviously, the real win, and Ev, you've alluded to it previously, is that for Max came off track with the birth of his daughter Lily. I think we've spoken enough about Max's race in the context of the two McLarens.
New
but
floor as well.
Jen, special moment for him. What, kitchen floor or just randomly want to throw?
No, car floor.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Did she give birth in Miami?
Random fact to throw in there. Actually, it's a good question, Ev. I don't know. I did wonder. Like, did he have to go?
She wouldn't
back
have been able
to
to fly.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
they wouldn't have taken that risk, would they?
Yeah, no, not when she's that close. He would have gone back home.
Yeah, which is kind of weird that he didn't have the weekend off, but that's not my place to comment.
Like father, like son.
I want to ask her, well, like daughter. Oh, wait. Oh, you're talking about Joss. Hey, I want to just quickly touch on the memes over the weekend regarding the relief of the drivers, future drivers, current drivers, where they all found out it was a girl and not a boy. So there's all these memes like that went around over the weekend of like people like smiling and laughing and cheering because they found out that Max Verstappen's kid that was born is not a boy. So they're all relieved, right? It's this idea that, oh, thank God, it means that we're not going to have to worry about. But I genuinely think if F1 Academy works,
yeah.
Well, but that's the whole point, right? Like,
that's
the whole fucking point.
That's the joke, Ev.
Yeah, that's the joke, Ev. Fucking hell. Welcome to internet culture, big guy.
I didn't hear the beeping.
Ev only watches The Big Bang Theory because they have laughing tracks, so he knows when the joke is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna. I'll put up a sign here going, joke, Ev. Hey, whilst on Red Bull, Yuki did his best to remind people that there is a second Red Bull driver by claiming 10th spot and the final points on offer. That said, still 30 seconds behind Max, mind you, and only just beating Hadjar. I think he was like 200 seconds. Like, by all accounts, Isaac
close.
nearly had him. Guys, I don't have anything else to say about Yuki there, but obviously, if you've got anything, please speak now.
I think he had more fun. I think he had more fun off track.
Did you
with
see
DJ
how
Khaled.
fucking sweaty he was? Like, oh my God, Yuki looked like
Khaled.
he stepped out of a shower. No, not DJ Khaled. That guy, imagine that guy sweating. Ooh. All
Even
right.
with the
Running out the top 5 was the ever-impressive, quickly becoming my favourite driver, Alex Albon, who grabbed 5th alongside teammate Carlos Sainz, who after DNFing in the sprint rebounded to qualify well and finished 9th, and secured double points for the dark horse that is Williams. Mind you, he took a real crack at Lewis in that final lap to try and grab 8th. Surprisingly, they didn't clean up each other. Boys, I love this. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The rise of Williams will inevitably be the best thing about F1 this year. Gents, you may recall, but Carlos, according to Drive to Survive and internet rumours, was very much weighing up a drive with Stake, which would then in turn become Audi next year. His contract at Williams is only 2 years, so it's only till the end of next year. So effectively, he'll be back on the market this time next year and part of all of that media circus nonsense. Question: if you are Carlos, seeing what you're seeing with Williams now, working on the assumption that my quickly becoming favourite team boss, James Vowles, who I have to say, right, Jamie, my wife, has started referring to James Vowles as the Toto from Audi, which I think is incredibly offensive because I love James Vowles. But Ev's
from
what,
Audi?
German car?
I wouldn't say.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
I knew it.
Audi,
I knew.
Volkswagen.
No, you fuckheads. Audi's in the supermarket.
Oh, Audi.
Oh my god.
Not Audi, as in
thought you said
the
Audi.
Formula One
Like
team.
Timu Toto. We'll call him
And Tay
Timu
was like,
Toto.
yeah,
That
VW,
is,
yeah, because again, VW own
Wish.com.
Audi. Like,
Yeah,
why do I have
wow.
to
Yeah,
but it's
explain
still a-
like corporate ladder shit
still a-
to you people? Where's Get
I don't know
Jamie
why
on.
you
I'll
have
call
to
you
explain
VW
anything.
Vowles.
Well,
I
you
don't
don't
know why you have to
understand
explain
Vowles
anything,
from now on.
Ev. It's
He's
got nothing
the-
to do with VW.
James Vowles is the Woolworths of Toto Wolff. Makes more sense than Audi.
Why does...
Audi?
Again, Ollie, remember.
That's
Hold on.
It's no, because Tay and I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. It's very clever. You said Audi, and contextually, we speak about Audi Formula One team, not Aldi.
No.
the
Unless you
cheap
understand-
ass shit supermarket.
Unless you understand the running joke that there is a constant referral to people being called the cheaper version of something, hence referred to Audi. But you're probably just used to Temu, so maybe I should have said that to make it easier for
I don't
people
talk
like
to
Ev.
people who shop at Audi. How would I get that reference?
So, yeah, shame on me. Shame on Jamie. It's Jamie's fault.
It's very
right.
clever.
Yeah,
So if
Jamie,
you're-
why
She
would
is
you
very
why would
clever.
you use a product that's exactly the same as a car?
Yeah. Guys, if you're
Audi.
Carlos, are you seeking to accelerate your contract extension with Williams now?
I wouldn't accelerate it. I'd wait because if he, I
I'd
mean,
keep it.
would they want to accelerate it? They'd still trying to figure out how good Carlos is for them anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So there were some issues at the end of the race
I
where
don't know how much
he
it
was
costs.
caught on, well, not caught on radio, but he was talking on the radio where he wasn't happy with how things played out and referring to Albon.
Right.
So I don't think he's necessarily happy with the team dynamic on that aspect.
Oh, one moment.
I
though.
think-
Can't read into all of
I-
that.
Also,
for
if you're
sure,
Williams,
for sure.
Carlos almost crashed out at the end when he didn't have to.
I know.
Like, that was a
when
silly,
he
silly
dive-bombed
move.
Lewis.
You wouldn't do that in the last lap?
Dive-bombed Lewis.
It just seemed like a silly.
But on-
It was a bit too silly. I thought
There should be a rule that says, like, if you
Oh,
crash
yeah, it was
out on the last
unnecessary.
lap because you've tried something that's like positive for the
Racing.
the racing and the television aspect of it, that you should like get your finishing position
Speed
should
boost.
reflect that. So like, I've crashed out and I've taken out Lewis, but I tried something and it was glorious for TV, so therefore we still get 6th and 7th.
A bonus point.
Yeah.
Sure.
One of the things that Albon said was that it was the first time he's ever seen Max finish. And
Oh
that's
yeah, in
even when he
terms
was
of
racing
Oh,
for Red
really?
Bull.
Wow.
visibly.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Visibly.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love Albon. Yeah, I think he's wicked. Hey, let's skip 6 spot because we've obviously called out Antonelli. And let's swing our attention to poor old Ferrari. Drivers Leclerc and Hamilton finished a real low 7th and 8th, which I think, Digby, is about where you genuinely called them finishing last episode. I think you might have said 6th or 7th, but we'll say 7th and 8th. That sounds better. I'm sure you saw all the clips of it over the weekend, but I reckon that Charles's dog is probably arguably had the best weekend in red. In summary, we had a moment of blowing our load early again with Lewis grabbing a podium in the sprint race. But continuing on the theme of Ev's sex life, it was incredibly short-lived with what can only be described as a really bad weekend that has probably revealed even more cracks in what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I do note that Ferrari's CEO happened to be there on the weekend, which would be quite nervy for some. It was an incredibly non-eventful race for both drivers in red, where actually the most action seemed to be when they were racing each other. I think it's fair to say, and based on how Lewis was kind of acting, he was a bit upbeat after the race. He obviously had an element of a recovery drive because he did qualify 12th. But gents, the talk of the grid and post-race has yet again been Ferrari's strategy. Their driver-engineer relationships that continue to be all on show with obviously access to these radio messages. There's always expectation at Ferrari, and obviously he was brought there to drive real change, but there's genuinely at risk of being the number 1-5 team on the grid at this rate. Surely Williams have a new target for the year now, and they're going, we are top 4. We're going for top 4 because Ferrari are a fucking basket case.
Yeah. They must. You have to be, if you're Williams, you have to have that goal in mind, and now I think they can just taste it. I will add to that, is one of the more eventful things is listening to their radio about who gets to take over who, and the miscommunication of Lewis asking for some time and Leclerc was only asked once, so it gave the impression that he wasn't giving up his spot. And then he had to give it back anyway because he wasn't getting. It's like that was as exciting as it got for Ferrari. Yeah, not great, not the worst, but. Geez, Williams can smell it now, and I think that's very exciting for them to be up, possibly taking over Ferrari.
To even be in that contention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes for an exciting mid-tier race this year, I think, which is good.
Tay, do you think the tensions between Charles and Lewis are starting to bear fruit? I mean, have we gotten to a point where they're gonna start turning on each other, or there's so much hate towards the strategy team that it doesn't matter?
I think it's exactly. I don't think it's going to be obviously a Nico and Lewis effort. No way. I think the frustration comes to the engineers and on the wall. I think it all stems from that.
Did you hear Lewis where he was like, like he asked the question again about being asked to be able to overtake Charles to have a crack at the car in front. And the guy was like, we'll check. And he goes, why don't you have a tea break at the same time?
Yeah,
it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, it was also when he gave the place back, he was just like, should I let Sainz go through as well?
Yeah. Sainz is 1.4 seconds behind. Should I let him through too? It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
okay, but I want to thank everybody at the factory. I want to thank everybody back at home.
Yeah.
I want to thank all the fans.
And
we head to Italy.
You got given the position and you couldn't do anything with it, Lewis, so...
Yeah, it's only race 6, but how much pressure is actually building on Fred? They were pretty aggressive in getting rid of Benito, if you remember. Like he kind of got binned off fairly quickly. How much pressure's on Fred now? Is he at risk of his job? Ev, maybe one for you. Do you have any visibility on what upgrades they're bringing to Imola or not?
No. Well, no. You never know. You don't know what upgrades people are bringing.
True.
No. I don't think Fred Vasseur is under. What happened to Binotto?
Except his belt, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Jesus Christ. Ferrari is a religion and carries with it the weight of all of the politics that go along with that. In saying that, Fred Vasseur is hugely respected, and the changes he made already since last year were to cut out people who were in the job because they were cronies of the CEO or of the family, and clearly, it's plain to see for anybody the mistakes that they're making on a communicative level, let alone tactics or bringing forward the kind of upgrades that their drivers need specifically. Fred Vasseur is very good. He has been very good at demonstrating what's wrong, because the changes he's made have been really good. Whereas Binotto is Italian, and he was trying to play the Ferrari game.
Please everyone.
And you look at it. Ferrari haven't been successful for such a long time. They'd had Seb Vettel, who was more than capable of winning a championship. Why it is that you have unlimited money and brand recognition, and you haven't bothered to put the right people in place for such a long time. I think that Fred has highlighted that. He doesn't have patience for this kind of bullshit. And I think that maybe over the summer break, we're going to see more changes. And that's from what I've heard, that because he and Lewis go back a really long way. They go back to him in F2, I think. So you can imagine the kind of shorthand that they have between them. Charles has been there a long time. Everybody loves Charles. So you need to get engineers that can speak English as a first language. That's probably a good thing. Charles is in Italian. He probably speaks fluent Italian at this point. But
most Europeans do.
Yeah, but you need to be able to... This strategy of... And again, the radios are delayed. But this whole thing about asking someone to let someone through because you're holding them up, and then it took so long that Lewis burned out his tires by the time it happened, and then they didn't. What was it? They didn't tell Lewis that Charles was going to overtake him, towards the end of and it was just weird. It's super weird. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, look, it's their first home race of the year in 2 weeks, and you would anticipate and like to think that that they'd turn up and do something there. Otherwise, the Italians might be jumping on Antonelli and Portobello Mushroom, who's also Italian. So
I'd like to posit Bert and Ernie instead of Antonelli. Similar.
We like Antonelli.
Bert and Ernie.
All right, wrapping up review, a couple of honourable mentions. We touched on Hadjar. Fair to say that obviously aside from Antonelli, he was the best of the rookies. He, as I said, he was just behind Yuki and almost pinched him, which is scary for Yuki, right? Who's come into Red Bull, supposed to be kind of closer to Max, and so far no dice. Poor old Berman made hard work of his race start by qualifying last again. But after making up some places, his car died and he joined the list of rookies who had also retired, including Doohan, Lawson, Bortoletto. And on Doohan, gentlemen, pretty shit on both he and Lawson's behalf. I don't know who to pin that down, but Doohan was retired again.
Yeah, put that Lawson.
Again in the first lap after colliding. Pretty shit if you ask me. Look, I'm going to give you two takes here. Officially, it's been confirmed, potentially, by the time this releases, that Doohan is out. He is out. Obviously, we talked a couple of weeks ago about how Alpine had come out and publicly backed him and told him that, they were going to continue to give him the chance. It was last week or the week before, apparently, a sponsor came out on Italian TV and said while they'd cut to an ad break, they were pestering. When's Colapinto coming back? And because Colapinto is also Italian, Argentinian.
They've already got an Argentinian sponsor who's already on board. Okay.
Well, I think this was the sponsor, and they were asking him about Colapinto, and cuts to an ad break when he says, "I can't." There's been no answer. There's no answer, and then you hear in the ad break, well, just as they've cut, he says Imola. By all accounts, it's happening. Right. So Jack Doohan, look, we have to get up here and, to some extent, stand by him because we're Aussies and we want the Aussies to do well. And I don't know whether to put it down to Alpine and just being a fucking awful car, because even Gasly was shit on the weekend. But I mean, guys, what's to be expected of rookies here in shit cars? What else could you have asked the bloke to do? Maybe I'm being a little bit too Aussie, back in the Aussie here, but I don't get it.
How many races has he finished? How many races has he actually finished this year? Because I think he struggled to finish.
He's less than 50%.
Yeah, so that's not good. I don't mind if they mind if he's losing, but he's not finishing.
Well,
but I still think this is abrupt. Very abrupt.
Everything's multiplied by the fact that Williams is doing consistently well in best of the midfield, and that's millions of dollars in prize money between fifth and sixth team. So yeah, but.
Let's not forget Renault weren't so far from the top a few years back when Danny was there.
Yeah. But Jack, you could have walked into Superbikes or MotoGP with your father's legacy and done an okay job. And now you're like, it's not good enough.
Father.
MotoGP isn't good enough for you, Jack Doohan. Ooh.
His dad rode dangerous motorcycles, so he didn't have to, Ev.
Anyway, so it sounds like that we may have seen the last of Jack Doohan on track. So that's, I mean, that must be fucking devastating. For some reason, I couldn't care less. I felt no
I
emotion
feel nothing.
to Liam. No, I do though. Because he's
Why is
Aussie,
Liam
but for
Lawson
Liam Lawson,
still
I was like,
there?
I don't give a fuck. Yeah, good question. I want to wrap up with, lastly, and as promised, Stroll Watch to round things out for review. So putting aside
I didn't see
those
him once.
DNFs, pod favourite Lance Stroll finished, ladies and gentlemen. We finished last on the weekend.
Oh, buddy.
So,
At least he finished,
you know, there was obviously a number of retirements, but he finished last again. But guys, here's the wild thing about our favourite Lance Stroll. He is still 10th on the Drivers' Constructors
Wow.
Championship.
Yay.
So take that, all you haters.
And Alonso's 14th.
If you want to just, like, remind yourself, given we don't see a lot of him, like, even media-wise, you never see anything
This
of Lance.
year
If
especially.
you want to remind yourselves why we actually don't like him, watch the post-race interview with him, and he gives fucking nothing. He gives nothing. He's just got this stupid, punchable face. Like, anyways.
Did you see that clip of the chick wanting to do a selfie?
No.
And he's like, literally, he just goes over and he's like,
It was funny.
And
and then just carries
An
on.
old TikTok came up about it. You know that guy who sits in the F1 bed, like car in his bedroom, and just has the microphone to his face, and he's defending why he can't stand Lance Stroll. His number one point, his first point, is because just look at that face. And there's something behind that. There's something about his face. You're just like, fuck, I
Punchable.
hate this guy.
Punchable. Hectic, long weekend, all packaged up into one beautiful, chaotic, and overly opinionated segment. It's time, however, for everybody's favourite segment that mixes high-stakes trivia with low-effort research. Welcome back to Hush, You've Been Paying Attention. Now, if you're new here, this is where I test the so-called F1 knowledge of my fellow idiots, using a very scientific mix of actual news, obscure race details, and things about our race host cities that no one ever needs to know. There's no prizes, there's no dignity, and frankly, no excuse not to know at least one answer. This week, we're quizzing off the back of a chaotic weekend in Miami, Grand Prix that we've already touched on, which included full-size Lego cars, Tiesto doing double duty, and one of the most dominant McLaren wins in years. So if you were paying attention, you'll likely be thinking you'll breeze through this. And if you weren't, well, you'll be in familiar territory with the rest of these clowns. So sharpen your minds, flex those memory muscles, and remember, this is Formula One, where the points don't matter. Well, sorry, this is Hush, You've Been Paying Attention, where the points don't matter, but the shame lasts forever. Before we kick on, boys, let's test your buzzers, please.
Stop taking my
Who do you want
points.
to go first?
That's my buzzer.
Stop what?
Stop taking my points.
Taking my points. That's up from last week.
If you're new here, people,
Oh
the
my
main thing that
God.
happens in this quiz is I get denied my points, just so I don't keep
Oh,
winning
okay.
Lando,
against
shut the
Lando,
fuck
shut the fuck up,
Shut
Lando.
up, Lando.
Right,
He keeps pushing
okay.
me up the
go
track.
on.
Okay, I'll change it. You've inspired me.
Yeah.
He pushed me
Yeah,
up
I
the
know.
track.
Yeah, I like it. Like it
pushed
much
me
better.
up the track.
Tay, what do you got?
Chill, daddy, chill.
Chill, daddy, chill. I like it.
Chill, daddy, chill.
My buzzer is, it's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Because that's probably what
All right.
George does in the nightclubs. I've seen the Birdcage. I know what
With-
goes on in Miami.
With Ginger.
It's
very good,
raining
okay.
men.
Question 1. Which team won the Lego race?
Chill, daddy, chill.
Oh my God. Oh no.
Tay, that was Tay. Fuck, he wound up so well for that too. What the hell is that? Tay, what have you got?
Probably got it wrong because
Oh,
I
you
forgot.
fucking-
Our three buzzers combined is a really
I think
bad
it's like- yeah.
sound, by the way.
Fucking Broadway show.
I think it was Alpine.
It was. Oh my god, he
Yay.
actually. Yeah.
Jack
Pierre
Doohan did
Gasly and
something.
Jack Doohan. Yeah, it was the only thing they won for ages, and likely the only thing they'll win for ages, particularly for Jack Doohan. Question 2. How many Lego bricks were used to build each
Chill,
life-
daddy,
It's
chill.
raining men.
Oh, Digby's like, I got no idea. Look at these Lego nerds. Yeah, it was Tay. It was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 400,000.
Yeah, well done.
Car.
Well done, Tate. You're such a Lego
I thought it
nerd.
was 40. I mustn't have read it right.
Yeah.
I saw that video.
Well done.
It took
And that was
2.5 years.
like Swiss or something.
And they weighed 1.5 tons.
Oh my god, that's so much.
Really? Tate with the trivia. Tate's like, I hope there's more Lego questions.
Do you like Lego?
Question 3. Question 3. It's 2-0. Tate's out the gates. Piastri is the first McLaren driver to win 3 consecutive Grand Prix
Chill,
since
Daddy,
who?
chill.
Oh, he's
Fuck,
off
fuck,
again.
fuck.
What is
Mika
this?
Hakkinen.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, he's
98.
right. He was. It was Mika Hakkinen.
Can you wait for him to ask the question?
I know.
Because you obviously don't have much delay.
He didn't need
I know
to.
it. And if there's a delay,
We
you
never
gotta
have
get
got
there early.
We have never gotten this far.
This is
All
what
right.
a quiz.
Confusing.
Here we go. Question number 4.
I hope Tay
How
gets
many
this one.
races? How many races in a row has Piastri now scored points at?
Chill,
Push
Daddy,
me.
chill.
No, Tay was way
That
earlier.
was Tay.
But I didn't hear you finish the question though. You were
Well,
saying
that's
how
not
many
that's not his
has
problem.
Oscar's gotten. How many races in a row has Oscar gotten points on? Correct.
Yeah, that's right. Don't go. What's your answer?
Yeah, but it's not
Hurry
finished
up.
first though, is it?
That's not what.
Just answer the fucking question. Answer the
Oh
question
my
that you
God.
heard. 5,
Who put
4.
Tay in
Okay,
charge?
all right. It's 3 in a row, but I'm wrong.
So the question was, how many races in a row has Piastri now scored points at? Not how many has he won in a row.
Yeah.
Piastri has
Yeah.
had.
It's raining men.
Second. Oh, you're right. If you get to answer.
Well, hasn't he? Isn't it? How many races have we had so far? Isn't it every race he's scored
Answer the
points?
question. Why does everyone ask another question?
My
You
answer
heard the
is-
question.
Every race this season he scored points at, plus
Yep.
some last year.
So what's that number, mate?
It's
Right.
raining men.
See, the irony is, if Ev
Hallelujah.
just learnt how not to talk over the top of me, he would have heard me give the answer. Because I started reading out the answer. But Diggs, are you going to have a crack here? Because
Yeah, I
Ev's
didn't
wrong.
actually hear what you said.
Obviously.
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay.
15
Oh, what a
in
big
a row.
surprise.
All right, so I can't believe you all got that wrong. Based on the fact that I did give the answer away.
32.
But
I didn't
32.
hear. I
it
didn't
was
hear.
32.
I win.
No, you don't.
No,
That's
you
amazing.
don't.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
That is 32 consecutive
1-0.
weekends that he's scored
Good
points
for
at.
him.
It's the 4th longest streak in F1 history. Right, it's 3-0 to
That-
Tay.
yeah.
Question number 5. How many times has Russell been on the podium in 2025?
He pushed me.
Yeah, what do you got? He pushed me. It's a good one.
Five. Five. Oh, fuck.
Wrong.
5? Fuck,
Wrong.
that's too many.
It's raining
Fuck.
men. 4.
Yeah, well done, Ev. You
Yeah, it's
you
four.
can have that.
Moral
Yeah.
victory.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
the only victory
Question-
that matters.
Question number 6. What notable movie producer was seen in the paddock tied to
Jigging,
Daddy,
mate,
chill.
It's raining men.
Yeah.
It's raining
Tay.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
What? It wasn't Tay. He didn't say anything.
No, it
No,
was
it was
definitely
me.
Tay.
I said-
I just
It was
answered
definitely
it.
Tay. Yeah, you're an idiot.
Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say
I
that
can't
anyway.
answer. I can't
taking
buzz
my points
faster.
away from me, Digby.
It's impossible.
Okay, so it's
I
4
feel your pain.
It's 4-1
I knew the
to
answer.
to
I got 32.
Tay over Ev. No, you didn't.
And Jerry
you dickhead.
Bruckheimer.
Right.
2 all.
Tay, you can't answer these questions, but Digby and Ev, you get half a point for
Oh, not this
every
shit again.
every movie you can name that Jerry Bruckheimer has done. And if you as soon as you get it wrong, you get no more points.
Okay, Top Gun,
This is bullshit.
Days of Thunder.
But you know what? I actually don't have a full list of all these movies.
Benjamin Button.
So I don't know. I kind of assumed.
They're taking
I
away
just
my
assumed
points, everyone.
Yeah. No, okay, you know what? You can have a chance of having
no,
it.
no, no, no,
I
it doesn't
think he
count.
did a
It
lot
doesn't
of
count.
Brad Pitt movies. I think he did a lot of Brad Pitt.
That's not an answer.
Pitt movies.
No,
No, but
I'll
like,
tell you what.
yeah, Benjamin Button, probably Vampire. What's the Vampire one with Tom Cruise? He probably did that.
Well, you can skip the part where I offered you up points because you're right, Diggs. I shouldn't do it.
I'm on 2.5.
But,
There you go.
So, obviously, Jerry Bruckheimer is one of Hollywood's most prolific producers with a career full of high-octane blockbusters, franchise powerhouses, and pop culture-defining hits, including Top Gun, Pirates of the Caribbean, Bad Boys, The Rock, Armageddon, Pearl Harbor, Black Hawk Down, and so on and so forth.
Whoa.
Anyways, there you go.
There's a porno called Black Cock Down.
Question,
I don't know.
Question 7. Now
wasn't a
remember,
producer on
boys,
it.
if you get this wrong, you lose 2 points, right? So, but today is a special. If you get it right, you get 2 points.
That is such bullshit.
So,
Mate, this is the first time you've been given any kind of disadvantage, so you shut your mouth because no one seems to be able to answer ahead of you. Even when I say the thing when you actually know what the question is, I'm still too late. Like, it's impossible.
all right,
to know
okay,
what
here
you
we go.
ask.
Here we go. Remember, you get it wrong, you lose 2 points. So, careful jumping in.
Well, I've got
Tay,
nothing to
if I were
lose.
you, I'd just sit back and wait. Question number 7. Name 2 artists that will feature on the F1 movie soundtrack.
Oh, fuck, mate. I only know one.
I've won.
I don't know any.
I'm going to have to take a guess. Fuck, I saw their names on the Instagram post and I didn't know almost all of them. Jelly Roll.
Actually, to be fair, Diggs, I don't know. Jelly Roll. I don't know because he was there. He was there.
Does it mean that he...
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay,
mean
hold
that he's
on,
in the
okay,
movie.
Hold on. All right, no. Okay, let me Google.
Just
Let me Google
ask ChatGPT.
it. yeah, that'll definitely tell me. Fucking Stevie Wonder. We still have to give me another one.
Billie Eilish.
Oh, okay, well, no, you're wrong. Okay, Ev, you're gonna have to take a guess here because otherwise Tay is gonna win.
Well, I win anyway.
I don't know popular music. Who is...
Oh yeah, true.
We only listen to
Yeah.
good music
No,
here.
because Tay, there's one more question after this.
Yeah.
There's one more.
Is... Yeah, I haven't... Is...
Oh my god.
Is
Stop acting like you know.
I don't know. Is Rihanna?
No. Oh my god,
Yeah,
Doja
she's
Cat.
too
That's
big.
the one I was thinking
I think
of.
they spent.
Fucking-
Yeah, I think they spent so much money on Brad Pitt and on like the
Dom
making
Dollar
of the
is
film.
on the
That's-
fucking album.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
they
is
they
Ed
can't
Sheeran,
afford. Oh, Ed
Tiesto,
Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran's
which I've
good.
already mentioned today.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I
That's
guess
the
this last
biggest
question's a
climax ever.
5-pointer, so biggest 5-point
Yeah.
question ever. This
Yep.
is look.
All
When
right.
I win, you do it. Yeah, this one's gonna be worth
No,
10
fair
points for
point.
Ev.
Fair point. Last question is worth 5 points. On the weekend,
this
it was
is bullshit.
confirmed that Miami has extended its hosting rights until what year?
Dig me. 2041. 2041.
Oh, fuck off. I had that, mate. And you didn't even do your buzzer.
No,
Yeah,
but
it's
Tay,
changed my
buzzer.
Tay, no,
I changed my buzzer.
no, Diggs,
Ah.
you can have the 5 points, but you were -2 because you got the question wrong before. So Tay, you still win, baby.
Damn it.
You go to 3, Diggs.
Ah.
Tay,
Fuck
you were in
off,
a-
I'm on 2.
No, you
I'll
weren't.
give you that.
made
I'll
up.
give
Well
you
done,
that
Tay.
because we all know there's no minus points in us. You've been paying attention.
So there you go, Tay. Tay, after that win, you are now equal first in the total competition with Evan on 3.5 points. Diggs, you are on 2.5. So shame on
Yeah,
you.
give me my
And you
points
know what?
back.
Shame on all of you because Digby and Ev, I put the answers to the question regarding artists in the chat, and neither of you got it right.
No, but I
Read
look,
the
I knew,
chat.
but I knew you were gonna ask that, and I looked. I was like, yeah, no, I saw those photos, and I remember Dom Dollar and stuff. And then as soon as you asked the question, could not remember who the fuck, because all I
Unbelievable.
remembered was your celebrity list that you put in the paddock, and I was like, Jelly Roll. I didn't even know if I don't even
Yeah,
think he's
true,
on the soundtrack.
true. Well done, Tay. Well done, Tay. No, he's not on the soundtrack, but Tiesto is. All right, now that we've actually covered what's happened on track and have quizzed it out, it's now time to dive into the glorious mess that is the F1 circus off the track. This is What's Verstappening, our weekly sprint through the wildest headlines, spiciest rumours, and weirdest paddock gossip we could dig up between espresso shots. Now, if you're new here, here's how it works. We've got 4 topics to talk about, all pulled from the F1's world. Rumour mill, press conferences, paddock whispers, PR disasters, stuff that's just made us say, wait, what? Each of our co-hosts will have 20 seconds to give their take, whether that's a hot opinion, a conspiracy theory, or just chaotic nonsense loosely inspired by facts. It's fast, it's messy, and it'll probably get us cancelled one day. With that, let's find out what's Verstappening. Topic number 1, the order is in that of winner. So Tay, Ev, Digby, just to make things easy.
3 points.
Topic number 1, Miami Till I Die. As flagged in Huss, you've been paying attention, the Miami Grand Prix has secured its place on the Formula One calendar through to 2041, following a 10-year extension announced during the 2025 race weekend. The extension builds upon the original 10-year agreement established when the race debuted in 2022, making it now the longest contracted event in F1 history. F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali emphasized the strategic importance of this deal, highlighting Miami's role in further establishing the sport's presence in the United States. Gents, as it stands, Imola, Monaco, Spa, Barcelona, and Zandvoort are all yet to have new contracts locked in, noting that respective contracts end either this year or next, acknowledging that we understand Barcelona is gone and being replaced by Madrid. Barcelona and being replaced by Madrid, and that Zandvoort has been confirmed it's out. What are your thoughts on Miami being locked in for so long, and noting it still had a few years left on its contract, particularly before the likes of Monaco and Spa? Hey.
I'm all up for Miami. I think after this weekend, it was great. Clearly, they're doing it because of the market here in the US. And I think that's the only reason. How they've been managing to have it go out till 2041 is crazy, because anything can happen in that time. I just don't want it to be at the jeopardy.
Like Miami going underwater.
Oh,
That. I just don't want it to be at the jeopardy of losing some really awesome traditional tracks.
Yep. Very good. Great comment. Ev, I want you to dial up. How the fuck can they lock this in before they lock in Monaco or Spa? Aren't they the greatest ever F1? Granted, Monaco sucks in terms of actual racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your thoughts on locking this in for so long when there are clearly better tracks that should be locked in?
It's owned by a financial group. So all I want is to increase the brand identity. And how you do that is by having races in Las Vegas and Miami and the Middle East in Dubai and places like that. So
where the money is.
Yeah, and every once in a while you sprinkle in a couple of fan favorites like Melbourne and Spa, Silverstone. But no, give me a financial backer. Those circuits like we saw with the new Spain track.
Madrid
It's like all banked. Everything's banked. Just give me Mario Kart.
Yeah, he just wants
You
Mario
say
Kart.
that
Just so you know, there is,
Castle.
yeah, every week. Just so you know, there is no race in Dubai. Diggs.
I'm going to reiterate what Tay said. After this
Yet.
week, I think it is deserved to have an extended contract. But to 2041, that seems a bit much. A lot can fucking change in, 16 years, 15 years. I think that's a bit rich. But obviously, like you said, Ev, they're doing it because there's some money there. That's a good place to grow it. It seems like a smart business move. So, yeah. And the racing was good. So I'm happy with it.
Okay.
For now.
Okay. We have a resounding no real offense to it. I'm not okay with it. I think it's bullshit till 2041. But I like Miami. I think it's bullshit that it's such a long contract, particularly because contracts mean fuck all these days. But there you go. Topic number 2. All show, no substance. Hopefully not the same for the car. As we flagged would happen in the last episode, ahead of their highly anticipated entry at the Grid's 11th team from 2026 onwards, Cadillac hosted a launch event over the Miami Grand Prix weekend, held at Queen Miami Beach, where they revealed what was effectively a hype video with their team logo. A team logo, mind you, that is literally the Cadillac logo that underneath says Formula One team. So cool. We saw a small snippet at a white and blue team suit in the video. I don't know if you guys picked that up, which may or may not be their actual team colors, but overall fairly, unrevealing. Acknowledging it was likely a great night for those special invitees. Of more interesting news is the reiteration of Cadillac taking on the experienced Graham Lowdown as team principal. Noting that Cadillac will compete with Ferrari engines until 2029, Graham has a professional relationship with Zhou Guanyu, China's first ever F1 driver and currently Ferrari's reserve driver. For context, gents, he has been involved in managing Zhou's career through his management company, and with all that, the more recent rumours are that Zhou is in line for a seat at Cadillac. Gents, thoughts on a possible Perez and Guan Yu lineup, or do you want to see something else? Tay.
All right. Nail a couple of things there.
Here we come.
I didn't even think about the whole livery reveal of the car will happen at the beginning of next season, just like with all the other ones. So we were never going to see it. I forgot about that. Makes sense that Zhou will be in line just with the team principal, seeing that they already have a relationship, also money from China.
Great
And
relationship
then
between
also-
America and China at the moment. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
China.
yeah.
China.
And then
well.
also with Perez was in town. He was in Miami.
Yes, he
having
was.
talks with them. So
you're okay with the
might just be
Perez and
talks.
Guan Yu.
I mean,
here we go again.
I'd love it if Danny came back, but I don't see anyone else really being able to fulfill that.
Let's go to Digby.
I'm disappointed we didn't talk about this earlier because you didn't put it in the question, but fuck Cadillac and not showing us anything on the weekend. That was about as bullshit as Rockstar revealing a GTA trailer and going, ooh, out mid-2020. Like, honestly, like, what? It's some bullshit marketing. It really grinds my gears when companies do that. Just don't pretend. Just say what you're going to do. Hey, like, it was the most pointless
It's
video.
just a VIP event. It was
meant to be a big party.
What were the words they used again? Like groundbreaking,
bold,
innovative.
Bold.
It reminded me of that Zoolander ad. Water is the essence of wet.
Is the essence
So,
of
like,
water.
couldn't give a shit who's
Moisture.
honestly, couldn't give a shit who's driving for Cadillac until I see their. I mean, I'd rather two brand new drivers. That to me is much more exciting than
agree.
rehashing two.
Logan
has-beens.
Sargent, go get the American.
Oh,
Does
yes,
this
does this
bode
what's the
well
Canadian
for
guy?
Cadillac
What's the
as a-
Canadian guy that we used to love? Who used to crash?
Stroll.
and cause-
Stroll.
No,
Stroll.
the one we liked. The one we liked. The goat.
Oh, Latifi.
He. Latifi.
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 Yeah.
Cal
Latifi.
Latifi.
Yeah. Queen Letitia. Yeah.
The dominoes that had to fall for
it was
him to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Ev, 20 seconds. Go.
I don't remember the question, so I defer to Digby. That was a great answer.
Great. Cool. Right.
you
Next
go.
topic. I'll let you stitch that one
It doesn't
together.
bode well for like Cadillac that they've misunderstood the culture of F1. They're like, oh, we're doing a big reveal, and then it was just a wet fart. And you're like, buddy, this isn't good.
In an elevator.
Right. Topic number 3. Is sprint racing turning an F1 weekend into a marathon? On the weekend, it felt like all we did was watch and consume F1. We had practice, sprint qualifying, sprint race, qualifying, and then race. To note was the back-to-back of the sprint race and GB qualifying on the same day, which got me thinking. With 6 sprint weekends on the calendar and that condensed format piling so much into one day, are we getting more F1 or just more confusion? The sprint format's meant to add excitement, but does it dilute from the main event? Particularly now the format has gone back to putting a quali in before the main race as opposed to what it was when it was introduced, was obviously what you finished in the sprint race was how you started the Grand Prix. Is it building hype or just draining tyre sets and attention spans? And are drivers adapting to it or just tolerating it? Hey.
Me. I wish it was back the old way. I think that would cause so much more excitement in the sense of doing 2 practices, sprint quali, sprint, then the race. That would be awesome.
Yep. I don't know what's going on there. I think it's all too much. But granted, I'm sure it fucking pans out nicely in ticket sales and
in
sponsorships.
saying that, saying that though, I think it's bloody impressive when there are accidents like what we saw in the sprint,
And they turn
they're
around.
able to turn the car around like that
Wow.
and get them out for quali is very impressive.
Pay them more. Bring on the trade unions to pay the garage more. I want to thank everybody back at the factory. Ev, what do you got?
What, you sound like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, I think that I've never liked this idea of safety, and they're always so concerned with safety. Let's do more safe. Let's have a safety. I think it was somebody, Martin asked Zach Brown about how you've gone from the sprint, which was chaotic, to straight like 2 hours later into qualifying, and you're like, what the actual fuck is going on? Because that's like, you can't do that. The human mind can only sustain that. Like, races are 2 hours for a reason, because guys used to pass out. In
So you
like
think
the
it's too much
50s,
for the
when there was no
drivers?
rules. We're feeding a beast called like television and
American
content.
television.
Yeah, and that's a seriously bad
Place to
idea
start.
to have.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know why this weekend was worse for me in that sense. I
think it was because the hours. I think it was the hours that we like we weren't
Was
watching
there
it
enough
live.
of
We
a
were
gap
watching-
between Like,
No,
Yeah,
I
because of the rain
got to
delayed
take
it.
on
Yeah,
this.
the rain.
I got to
Yes.
take on this. So
Go, Diggs.
I actually really enjoyed the whole weekend, but I don't like the order of everything. So as much as I would prefer that the sprint is your position in the race. That's all good, but I don't think they'll do that again. I want the sprint day back. I don't like that they do the sprint race and then they do a qualify. That doesn't make sense to me. So do your FP1 and you qualify, and then like, cool, now we're set up for Sunday. Now Saturday, it's the fun day. Let's fucking quali and sprint. That's all in order.
Yeah.
It's so weird having a race and a quali. I know it's not, like, I know it's all chronologically in the right order, but as a like, if you're just watching Saturday,
Actually,
it's really
what if you
fucking
did it
weird
in
to
the other
see that.
order? Do qualifying
they
for the race first, right?
No, that's what he's saying.
That's what it used to be. That's what I want.
And then do the
That's what it
sprint.
was.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So you go FP1 quali for Sunday, then you have the sprint quali, then you have the sprint, and then Sunday
sprint.
you've got the race
On Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
So
when I turn on,
that's what
I'm
was
like,
for a
I
little
can't
while.
watch qualifying because they'll like accidentally mention what happened in
about
the sprint.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
need
exactly.
to watch the sprint, and then I have to wait like an hour, and then I can turn on my social media.
I
and then-
suspect
and
they're
then
just
I
trying
can-
to figure out-
But as a whole, I do enjoy sprint weekends. Just so clear, I
Yeah,
do like the sprint.
yeah,
they need to
yeah.
fix that fucking order. It's so confusing.
They still need to
for
fix their
sure.
tracks to which they're going into. But anyways, right, boys, last one to wrap this up. Topic number 4, 100 versus 1. A fucking stupid trend that we're not going to ignore. The 100 men versus 1 gorilla debate is a viral internet phenomenon that recently captivated social media platforms. The hypothetical question, whether 100 unarmed men could defeat a single silverback gorilla in combat, originated on Reddit in 2020 and resurfaced in 25, notably in the Formula One paddock over the weekend. The trend has become a source of lighthearted banter, with drivers and teams engaging in a hypothetical scenario during media sessions and on social media. Mind you, but by the way, I haven't got to the question. One thing I didn't put in my notes here is apparently a whole bunch of fuckwits have come out talking like animal activists. Oh, this isn't fair on the animal. Shut the fuck up. Oh, yeah.
Me.
Just
It's hypothetical,
Yeah.
for fuck's sake.
The point is, we're not going to be any different here. So, gents, which driver or F1 personality, I will allow you to go beyond the grid should you choose, would you clone so as to have 100 of them take on a silverback? Tay, you've got 20 seconds. Make it fucking good.
Well, now that you've said the,
You're going to say Danica?
All right, I won't. I'll go back. To my
Her
original.
arms are
I'm gonna
hot.
say-
I'm gonna say it.
Oh, all right. Yuki, because he's feisty and he's dirty, and
He
he just
would,
get
would
in.
he?
And he's small. He just fucking get in there and just go
imagine
bananas.
100
literally.
Yukis running around. Fucking the sweat.
Just
sweat, baby, sweat.
And the language, he'd be
Oh.
just running his mouth at it.
Oh, he dies so
That's what I'd
quickly.
like.
He dies so quickly.
All right, so
Okay.
many of would be cool.
Ev, your turn. We've had Yuki. What do you got?
Helmet Marco.
He'd get
What? Just so you can watch?
destroyed.
So you can watch 100 helmet Marcos just get fucking punished.
Obliterated.
No, he'd
right.
be getting pummeled and also criticizing the gorilla at the same time.
Yeah. That's good. All right. Okay. There you go. So
Um,
we've seen some poor young, relatively short Japanese lad have the shit kicked out of him. Now some old guy getting the literal shit kicked out of him. Diggs, bring it home for us. Let's not let this trend down.
Toto Wolf.
Toto.
Wolf.
Oh yeah.
The wolf. Wolf
I
v
can't-
gorilla.
I cannot
Wolf
see anyone
v
else
gorilla.
having a remote chat except for maybe the new version of Zach Brown. Maybe. But all those
What's the
F1
new-
drivers,
what's the new
those
version
F1
of Zach
drivers
Brown?
would be
Slim down
pulled
The
Brown.
skinny
apart
version.
limb by
That's him
limb.
slimmed
They would-
down?
You need like 10,000 George Russells just to kind of squash the gorilla. 100 ain't. They're not doing anything.
Yeah. They're all dying.
Lewis
I don't give a
would
fuck
be in
what
there
anyone
telling
thinks.
him about his childhood. You can't fight me. I had a tough childhood. I have it so much
Oh
harder.
my god.
My
I'm
dad
a
worked 3
fighter.
jobs.
I'm a fighter, not I'm a lover, not a
His
fighter.
dad would be
Right.
jumping in, hugging the gorilla, getting ripped to pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I thank the factory.
Well, with that chaotic wrap up, I'd love to thank the zookeepers. With that chaotic wrap up, That's also a wrap of this week's episode of Idiots of F1, where the only thing more chaotic than a wet sprint race is trying to figure out whether 100 blokes could actually take down a gorilla. We've covered McLaren's Miami Masterclass, Verstappen's dad energy. Just on that, have you guys seen the memes about Max finishing...
Chill, daddy, chill.
Yeah, about Max finishing 6th, and then there's exclusive footage of Jos Verstappen ready to welcome Max home, and he's putting toothpaste on his knuckles. Anyways, we've seen Cadillac's shiny new logo, and somehow Leo Leclerc still managed to upstage half the grid. We've played with Lego, sprinted through qualifying, and questioned the moral integrity of T-brakes at Ferrari. Massive thanks to the team, Tay, Evan, Digby, for bringing the energy, the takes, and whatever that was during Hush You've Been Paying Attention. And as always, thank you to you lot for listening, streaming, sharing, yelling back at us from your car stereos. Make sure to follow, subscribe, and send us your wildest theories for the next What's Verstappen in. And remember, no matter how fast they go, no driver is ever safe from our unqualified opinions. Until next time, which will be next week when we're back to preview the first race of the European block, keep your tyres warm, takes hot, and your podcast settings firmly set on idiot mode.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Kiss my asphalt.
Meow.